Okay. We made a wrong turn into Friendsgiving, but there's something off. The turkey's cold and the wine is suspicious. And the guests, Courtney, let's just say they're a little bit more cult and cozy. Grab a plate as we carve into this creepy cult gathering. Pass the stuffing, say your prayers. This is the Wrong Turn Podcast. Hey,
Yay.
Courtney, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good.
Yeah, you got to Miami okay? You guys are unpacking.
We're good. We're settling in. We're getting back into the groove of things, adapting to life with a little baby. And
A little baby.
it's I know it's as good as it's gonna get for now, but we're doing pretty good, better than things. It really need like it's just astounding that other people raise kids without a third person. A third person is just like so much better. Yeah, so we've been able to use my mother and her mother have been helping out, and it just comes in so helpful. Like just somebody to hold the baby for a couple hours.
Yeah.
You either take a nap or do something or work on a podcast, and we'll see how far we can take this until I'm like I can't do it anymore because the baby needs too much attention.
Exactly. Edgar might just have to dip out, being like, "Sorry, we gotta go." That's what happens when you have like a 2-month-old.
And I didn't even know she was 2 months. That's how out of whack I am. I have no concept of time anymore. Like I thought she was 3 months yesterday, and I'm counting the weeks. And I'm like, it's not even 8 weeks. It's 9 weeks. And this doesn't make any sense because she was 9 weeks 3 weeks ago. And I'm like, just not counting properly. Like I told work, I was like, oh yeah, she's 3 months old. And then I told somebody else, like, no, she's 10 weeks old. And I told somebody else, like, no, she's 9 weeks old. And I'm like, I just have no fucking
You're like, I
concept of
don't
time.
know. You're like, I have no idea.
don't
She's
know.
just
she's just getting older. And now she's like, so seeing how her cousin is 5 months old or 6 months old now, and where his face was coming in, and like she's starting to get her a little bit more defined features, because right now she still has like no real defining features. Her face is really going to start to come in. She's going to really start to look like somebody or something. And and then she'll be the person that she is. So it'll be kind of cool. But how are you?
I'm doing okay.
News.
Doing okay.
Courtney's making moves, people.
What's that?
You're making moves.
Making moves behind the scenes. Have a really exciting opportunity. I don't know how much I can say right now, but fingers crossed for me.
It's like a baby. You can't tell anybody after it's done.
But regardless, here we are watching horror movies, watching thriller movies.
Yes. On theme for today, we're doing a little
Thanksgiving.
Gathering. We're doing Thanksgiving. So this will come out for Thanksgiving.
Edgar. Good pick.
You hadn't seen this before, and I want to do more of this where you haven't seen it, or maybe you can do one where I haven't seen it. We can get like our real reactions.
Yeah.
And, I knew this one was a banger. Like anybody who's into horror movies has probably seen this one and just knows this is I feel like the ratings for this one's like a 60% or 70% average. And I'm I think this is a little bit better than that. We're doing 2015's The Invitation, not to be confused with 2022's The Vampire Invitation. Different invitation, different party, different guests.
Very different fucking party.
Yeah, which I recently saw that other 2022 Invitation. That one was fine. Apparently that one had done really well because it was like a sexy vampire one. But this is
they put sexy vampires in it.
Yeah. It was weird, kind of like a Bluebeard kind of. I think it was like a vampire Bluebeard kind of a situation. If I could boil it.
No, this one had me unnerved the whole time.
And I like to do that sometimes. I like to really try to recommend movies that are going to be more for general audience, because I'm just this will really get you, as opposed to we love the schlock, we love the gore, we love we'll watch any horror movie that comes out.
No, this one, as a person that lives in Los Angeles, it also hits on a different level. Because I'm this would be the town that would fucking happen in.
No, yeah, going through so many true crime documentaries and seeing how many cults had burying the lead. This movie's about cults have gone through the LA and Southern California area or California area in general. I'm like, Jesus, like, so this movie's just
highly
is perfect for
influenced
that.
around here. We are. It's
Yeah,
like
what?
Jesus
I mean,
Christ, you guys.
not
And
you,
that's
but what we're
why
saying,
I
yeah.
almost texted you last night, dude. And I was like, I almost texted you last night. Like, bro, I would have left in 10 minutes. There's no way.
Well, but I mean, like, all right. So let's. I love it. You
Yeah,
thought this
you
film
take the lead. How do you
was
want to go into this?
oh man, all right. The Invitation by by Karen Kusama, also known. She hasn't done a lot of movies, but she's done several movies, well known movies. Girl Fight with I can't remember her name, the actress from Fast and the Furious. She's done Jennifer's Body most
Jennifer, that
notably.
was going to say, that's the one where I was like, hell yeah, because I love that movie.
In this movie. So it's like one of oh, and she's done a lot of TV. She's actually done a lot of really good TV. I think she worked on The Terror. I think she worked on Halt and Catch Fire. She's worked on a lot of like really good television that I'm just like, no wonder you're not doing like that much movies. She's done
TV's
she
where the
didn't
money's
do The
at,
Terror.
though.
Yeah, she's done The Billions, Masters of Sex, the Yellow Jackets, The Pilot, and Dead Ringers, which came out last year, which was the remake of the other day. So it's like she's worked on a lot
Yellow
of like really,
Jackets. Wow, congrats to her.
yeah. So like yeah, no wonder she's not like you know. And then there's another movie that she came out with last 2018, The Destroyer, which I have not seen yet. I didn't even know she had done another one. But yeah, so this movie is like I said, I think it's rated about 60%, and then 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, something like that. The notes here. There you go. Oh yeah. So very well received throughout. It had a limited release. The budget was about $1 million. It only made about 350,000 back, which isn't great considering how
That's
fucking good this movie is.
interesting.
Yeah.
Considering that I would also agree with you and like suggesting this movie to people. Like, it's unsettling and anxiety inducing, but it's worth the watch. Like, it keeps you interested.
And it's so relatable because like who the fuck hasn't been at not a family gathering,
A
a friends
family
gathering, a
a
dinner.
friend gathering that there's a little bit of awkwardness to, but also like them wanting to help their friends through like a really traumatic event. Like,
Yeah,
you
we
would
didn't even
do
get to
that.
that part yet. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But like, just like being at a being with some like your friends of friends at a gathering, talking to
Yes.
them, and then all of a sudden be like, oh, this person's a little weird, and now I have to sit next to them and eat dinner
Yeah.
and listen to what they have to say because I've definitely had to do that. To like, I don't know even how many Thanksgivings me and my sister went to Thanksgiving at my mom's house, and she invited some people who were a little fucking wackadoo. And I'm just like, and then me and my sister just kind of like looking at each other, like side on each other across the table,
And they were like the
like
friends of
my mom's friends,
yeah.
and they're like, there's like legitimately sprouting like fringe conspiracy theories at the dinner table, like they're facts, and I'm just like, because you,
You're like, for my
because
own safety, I'm just gonna go.
well, like it's just one of
Interesting.
those things. Like we were taught to be polite, and we're not gonna
Yes.
call. Like you might be
Yes.
able to be like, well, I don't know if that's like really polite. I don't know if that's exactly true, and then just kind of let it die on the table and just like move on.
But
You know.
as I hold my pen up, I think that's what like this movie also touches on, that note of like the politeness at a dinner party where you're like, oh yeah, like, I'm just trying to be like, hey, like calm down. And like the one guy, Will, our lead, being like, no, fuck all this. Y'all are back.
No, I wrote that one down because like yes, like how many times do you want to do with fucking like conventional etiquette and just be like, fuck this. This is fucking stupid. We're all playing this fucking game here. We're all being polite. What everybody knows, this person's fucking weird, and I think we should all fucking leave. I'm uncomfortable, yada yada yada. So, but going back to what you were touching on, yes, also trying to help your closest and dearest friends through a really fucking traumatic fucking event. That they were all there for, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't even realize that as you're like going through the flashbacks, that
It
they
takes a
were
minute to
all.
get the whole story within the flashbacks, but I like the way that the director, spread that kind of through the movie. Like, breaking it up and piecing how that event happened.
No, it was great because I was rewatching it again, and the rewatch, it was weird because I remember so many things differently. But yeah, how the flashbacks are baby birded to you backwards. So
Mm-hmm.
we start with Eden already trying to commit suicide, and then it working back with the events of their happy moments with their son Ty, and then at the end the last flashback is of course like what had actually happened, and just glimpses. You don't need a whole lot.
No, you
The director
don't.
was the director was like, the audience is smart enough to put it together. They're obviously hurting. We already know they lost the kid. We can just give you the image of a bat on the floor and just be like, it was a horrible fucking accident,
And like, I mean, I know we kind of jump around over the place, but you're good at keeping me on track. But like when we first start and you get to the house, like you can cut the room with like a knife about how uncomfortable and awkward it is. And I right away in my notes was like, what the fuck is happening? Because I truly only just read like the plot, like ex-husband goes to this house, dinner for invitation. I was like, all right, cool. What are we getting into, And then finally when I realized, like, put it together, like, oh, they were married, their son tragically died. So then I gave her some grace. I gave Eden some grace. I was like, okay, this is a really tricky situation to try to navigate. Like, you're no longer with your ex and you lost a child with that person. Like, so I guess I wouldn't be too weirded out, like, with her being so emotional and like touchy feely with him, because I kind of put myself like in the shoes of being the girlfriend of Will, of being like, what would that be like walking into something like that?
I mean, it's nice that they could like. I mean, also like they were married, they bonded, they had a child together. So like, and this is so weird though because like now I'm realizing I'm always gonna go on tangents. I'm sorry, but like how many movies have to deal with children and babies now? Now that I have a fucking baby, I'm just like I'm like now I'm just
You're gonna think differently now.
now I'm gonna think different because like watch I was rewatching the fucking Walking Dead because it's just playing all the time, and the baby in that thing. I'm like, Jesus, man, is there a kid in everything? All right, regardless, yes. And I thought they were super amicable to each other.
Yes.
Like Eden, I was like, that is nice to see when
Yeah.
that like a couple can move on and they can at least talk to each other and be like, as opposed to write each other off. They're not blaming each other for anything. It was an awful accident, even though they probably like
Did or
they
are.
probably blame they probably blame themselves. Is
Yeah. And I
probably
mean, how could you not? Like, I'm not a parent, but how could you not?
yeah. Like it's even Will says it like later, and he's like, "Oh, I should have paid more attention. I should have." But you're always thinking that especially in retrospect, "Oh, I should have been watching out. I should have been doing this, so on and so forth." Well, yeah. So we'll let's go through the let's go through the major parts of this movie, and there is like a lot of eeriness and like quiet moments that like don't even feel like the movie is lagging
Dude,
or
do we
dragging at
need to
all.
just like bring up John Carroll Lynch and the fact
Dude,
that
so
when
good,
he exists in any horror movie, I am unsettled? And that
dude. I've
makes
loved this
it
guy
like him
forever.
an incredible actor, like an incredible actor.
Oh my god, he's so fucking good. I can't.
So
I was like,
fucking
dude, this guy
good.
103 credits is IMDb. He's been acting for fucking ever, and it's just so unfortunate because he has such a conventional look. Like this is just my opinion that I feel like he's overlooked and he doesn't really like you see his face and you're like, oh, John Carroll Lynch is a great actor. I saw him in this one thing this one time, but he's in so many other things that
He's in
you're
a
like, oh
lot.
shit, I forgot he was in that because he was. Remember, he was in David Lynch's The Zodiac, and he was the main suspect. And I was
He
going
was
through his
in
IMDb page, and it was like he's in a bunch of shit.
horror related too, but he also, I think he does comedy, or he has. But you're right.
The first time I
Him,
saw him, yeah,
no,
sorry.
go.
First
He
time I
does do
saw him, he was on
comedy.
the
He's
Drew
been in
Carey show in the
comedy.
'90s.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he was Drew. He played Drew Carey's brother in the '90s TV show before Drew Carey went on to The Price is Right. I used to watch that show all the time because I used to love Drew Carey. And he played his cross-dressing brother before woke was a woke thing. It was really, really like unconventional. Just like he's just like John Carroll Lynch is like, yeah, this is. I mean, his character, Drew Carey.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
this is who I am. I love dressing in women's clothing. And
but that
he had a
yeah,
yeah.
that just means he takes the roles. Like, I just think he's the kind of guy that takes his roles seriously, but not himself, which I think that makes like a great actor.
And we're talking about, if you guys haven't seen this movie, go fucking watch this movie. But he has a fucking monologue in this movie,
Dude,
that just like
I was relieved. I was relieved when the director started breaking up that scene with the other characters, because it's such a long deadpan zoom, like a slow into him telling his fucking monologue, his story about murdering his wife. Sorry, everyone. Sorry.
no, yeah. He is not he's not a good person. Like, he's
He's
not a good
not.
person.
And the fact that everyone was just like, whoa, like they're all like, again, the politeness of like fuck, like, did that guy just tell us that? I would have stood up and I'd have been like, bro, you should still be in prison. 7 years ago?
You,
Like,
yeah, you like it was.
your wife.
I mean, it was an accident, so like, I guess maybe consider manslaughter. He got off on a technicality, maybe.
Maybe he had a great lawyer. That's what he had.
So yeah, and then all right, that scene is so
Sorry.
good. No, because it goes back, because I was thinking about the cult in that movie, in that scene, and how it is a little bit like group, right? Like they come into it as a game, because like Claire is our very smart character who's just like,
Mhm.
I'm out of here.
Our very
And
smart
she's just like,
character, and unfortunately, our first death, technically, right?
did you? I swear to God, I saw a version of this movie where they find her body outside, but I think that's just my memory playing tricks on me.
I think because
Like,
the director does such a great job at letting you know that that's exactly what happened.
I totally thought I saw some more dead bodies. It could have
I
been a
don't
different
remember
movie.
ever seeing her body, but the fact that John Carroll Lynch's character Pruitt, I think he's called, follows her out and is like, "Oh wait," and I'm like, "Oh, dead, fucking dead." The second that guy
100%
showed
she's
up at the door, I was like, I'm leaving. I'm leaving."
and it's funny because he's kind of soft spoken. He and he's kind of like unsuspecting because he has like a very conventional look, so he's kind of, I feel, overlooked, but then he's huge, so he has like, he can be this domineering presence. Later, when we cut to where he starts fucking murdering everybody, like, yeah, he's fucking huge.
Yeah, he's a big
Cool,
guy.
he's just walking around, which he doesn't even need that. He has the gun, so it's just kind of weird that he's walking around just like, I'm just going around and shoot people, deadpan, just knocking people off left and right. Oh, all right. But going back to that scene where they're playing that game, where they're just like, yeah, they're treating it like group. Everybody gets to say what they want, and then they get to open up, and then they're just really using it to sell them the invitation. They're calling them a
Yes.
little bit more. And then like, of course, it's broken up with these little playful interludes where I forgot the other girl's name. She's kissing
Oh,
the other
it's
girl, and then
Sadie is like the crazy one, and then I can't
Sadie,
remember what the woman who she kisses.
Gina.
Gina.
And then Eden brings it back around with, she wants to kiss somebody else, and like, they're just kind of playing into these roles. We're like, oh, it's not too serious, like, let's forget that Pruitt just confessed that he murdered his wife to everybody. Let's just go back to playing this game,
Exactly.
guys.
They're like,
Let's just
fun
go.
games. Let's go back to kissing. And it's like, and that is when, like you were saying, Claire, the smart one, gets up and she's like, I'm going to go. Because it kind
I'm
of,
fucking out.
like, it kind of does lead you to, like, just to, like, hey, please don't listen to that story about, that guy murdering his wife. Like, we're all going to have a good time here. And then it's like almost like, oh, it might be a little bit of an orgy or like whatever, a swingers thing. And then that's when it's like, all right, like I'm out. Like I don't know what's happening, but I'm not staying for dinner. I am uncomfortable.
And it's a lot too, because a lot of other people probably would have sat through it and stayed for dinner. Like she doesn't even make it to dinner. These are her friends that she hasn't seen in a very long time. They've all gone through something very traumatic, that they should also be very affected by.
And that is why, Edgar, I would have left sooner. Because with the addition of those two strange people, and we are meeting 2 years, like, haven't seen each other, we've all experienced this really traumatic event. We're trying to be there for this new friend. But I feel like with the addition of those two people, even though I would try to be respectful, being like, okay, these are their new friends. Like, maybe they need him through their healing, da 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 da. I would have been like, no. Guy murdering is nope, time to go. Like, I wish you the best in your healing, but I'm not going to be part of this anymore.
But there's also those people that would have stayed and be like, oh, well, free drinks, so I'm just gonna
Free dinner,
see where this goes.
nice house,
free dinner,
gotta
nice
go.
house. It's a party, like it's a party.
Yeah,
because you're always gonna meet those kind of weird people at a party too, right? Just that, and so yes, we're like much like the memories of this movie. We're playing this movie out of order. So yes, Will goes with his new girlfriend to see all of his old friends after 2 years to his ex-wife's house. They've all been invited to a very nice dinner party up in, what do you want to say, the Hollywood Hills or something like that, or
yeah,
like
Hollywood Hills, absolutely.
Mulholland
Up
Drive or something
Sunset
like
Boulevard,
that.
baby.
Yeah, up there, overlooking all of Los Angeles. And Will's the first one to be like, hey, why is my ex-wife so nice? Like, why is my ex-wife feeling cool? And like, who are these her new friends that have, are from her therapy group, who are all like just kind of like on cloud nine, and
And
they find out
also,
that they're all, yeah.
Also, she married a guy she met in her grief group after the death of their son, which led Will and Eden to divorce. So that's like another
Awkward.
added like blow, I guess. But at the same time, grieving is fucking weird. Like, it's just, I don't know. Like, I have a lot of empathy because it's just, it's so hard to navigate.
You're right. And like, whatever people need to do, a lot of people do some weird stuff when they're grieving.
Yeah.
So,
but I don't agree with joining a cult. Sorry.
Well, that's the problem with the cult. You don't know you're in a cult, right? So,
yeah, that's an issue. And again, even not like a victim blaming anybody. Like, this is the very like a serious side to those type of things. Where and how seriously dangerous it is.
What did we watch? Me and Ming watched the last cult one we watched is Love Is One or something like that, with the girl from, I think she was from California. It had like this love cult, and she said she was all these goddesses like mixed into one, and then she was taking on all the pain of the universe for everybody, and then she was drinking these silver tinctures constantly to, I guess, to help her through this, but she was also like a huge alcoholic, and I'm pretty sure it was same thing, just not giving into conventions, and they were probably just all sleeping with each other, and they would do these YouTube videos. She passed away, like their cult leader like passed away because she of organ failure. You can watch the I think it's like 3 episodes on Hulu Max or something like that.
Oh, I might have to now because it's just such an interesting subject.
Like,
but
that's only a couple.
Jump back into it. Will
no, but the whole thing is like they don't know that they're in a. That's the
they
whole
don't know
thing.
they're
Like
in a
grieving.
Yeah.
You're in a very vulnerable place. So
Correct.
they're susceptible to
a lot of things because, again, you are vulnerable. You are always kind of willing to do whatever it takes to feel better. And it's really fucking hard. Like, it is really uncomfortable sometimes to sit with those big, big feelings. And you try to reach to fill the void. So
and
it's
part of
just
it
niche. Sorry.
and
But
and what is
yeah,
it?
so
And
it's
part of it for
yeah,
them
it's
is just like sorry, continue, sorry.
no, you go.
You know, and they're it's weird though because I was trying to like, and their whole thing is just like, yeah, just let your pain go. All
Well,
that
that's
pain,
a
it's
fucked up
useless.
thing where it's like you just don't have to feel anymore. I'm like, that's not how emotions work. That's like what red flag number one that this is a motherfucking cult. You don't just get to remove negative feelings. Like
Yeah,
you
that's like,
have to feel them.
and that's probably what my like one small gripe with the movie was just like, oh, the cult, them explaining the cult's a little loosey goosey. Like, oh, just let it go, just let go of those feelings. You know, forgive yourself and just move on, and you're all good, and you could be happy just because you say you're happy. And I'm like, oh, that's not that. That's not how I feel. Because if that's how
No.
feelings were, like, oh,
Those
everybody
are
would be
no
much
feelings
happier.
work, buddy. Like, just like
No.
no.
'Cause the problem with feelings, they keep feeling them.
Exactly. The feelings are I'm fucking frustrated.
Much like fucking Will,
Yeah.
he's that's part of it too. I want to say he's on guard because it's his ex-wife. He's on
Mhm.
guard because she's so fucking happy. And that just puts him on edge where he's noticing all the little fucking things that, nobody else is noticing. He used to live in that house, so he notices that there's bars on the window all of a sudden. And he notices that, hey, you're locking the door. Like, have you ever had one of those locks on those doors where you have a key to on both sides? It's really
No. See, that was
frustrating.
a surprise to me. I was like, but I understood
Oh,
once Will was like, why you keep locking the door? Like you need to
I used
keep
to
that
live
key
at
in there.
no, it's weird. I used to live in a place like that where you need a key to get in and out. And you're just like, and if somebody removes the key, you're stuck and you're like, where the fuck's the key? Like, why can't I get out of this house? I just need to go outside if I could throw something away. It's really frustrating when it comes to things like that. Yeah. The and it, he and for a while he just seems like the most logical person. He's just
Mm-hmm.
like, even though he
But
comes off super fucking paranoid.
very paranoid. Give that actor a lot of credit. I think he did really well. I enjoyed his acting. However, I know the movie tries to like lead you. He is very paranoid. And so it tries to lead you a little bit into thinking that he is incorrect and that it is just a dinner party and everything's going to be fine. However, I was not convinced for 1 second. Like I was like,
No,
nope, nope.
because the misdirections are played out throughout the entire movie, and even later towards the end of the movie, you're like they come to a little bit of a standstill, right? The actor's name is Logan Marshall Green. He's done a bunch of stuff, like most notably right now for what he was one of the main guys in Prometheus, and he was in that sci-fi movie Upgrade. Um, the like when he loses his shit before, I think before they when he gets the phone call from his friend Choi, and he kind of like, and that's when he like does away with all conventions. He's just like, why the fuck is everybody being so fucking nice? I don't fucking like this. People need to fucking wake the fuck up right now. And then Choi walks into the room, and then he's just like, his fucking world's breaking down because he's just like, fuck, am I paranoid? Am I just fucking being am I just being the fucking asshole?
Yeah. Yeah. Which you would in
And
that
that's it.
moment if that happened, you would be embarrassed.
And he's very logical. That's what I was trying to say. Like he's just like, oh shit, I am not in a good place right now. I just need a fucking moment to myself.
I know, and
But then
that's
there's
what I mean. That's why I was like, I am on Will's side this entire time. Like he's being logical. Like I know we're supposed to later be like he's fucking paranoid, but these people are weird. Eden is acting weird. Like
weird. Eden's acting like she's fucking high all the time. It's kind of I don't know if that was
We
her. It was
found
kind of what it
pills.
feels
Should
like.
he have been snooping? Probably not. But it's a
Probably
fucking
not.
odd situation.
Yeah. Super odd. Yeah. And then, is there anything else we talk about before we want to get to the end of the movie?
Just a little bit more of like how, like, again, back to the whole I was on Will's side the entire time, because there was that other part when they're like in the group, as you called it, which is a good way to call that, when they show them that video of like this woman who's young and dying of cancer. And then there's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we're just trying to show you that dying isn't scary. And they're all sitting there just like, you guys, this is like supposed to be a nice time. And then they continue and they're like, okay, well, let's play a game now. And then it's that weird story of the guy killing his fucking wife. And I was like, how is everyone just completely chill with all of this? Like, I would have been so upset sooner.
The eventually, like, I guess these cult members missed the sales pitch meeting, because they are the
True, he
worst fucking
fucking
salesmen
did.
I've ever fucking seen. They
They're not
start with a
convincing
snuff
anybody.
film, not convincing anybody, but like, hey, let me just share something with you really quick where this chick dies. Like, I'm like, what?
Enough film times 100.
Yeah. I was just like, you start out, you baby bird it a little bit, like, but maybe that's just like, of course, if I was a cult, if I was trying to sell you some baby bird it a little bit, you just 1, 2, 3, you give them a little taste, you up it with the meeting a little bit, with the fun games, and then the third thing is the snuff film. That's what I would have
Yeah,
done. I'm just saying, and you know what? I would have had
that's what
everybody
I
on
would have
board
done.
drinking that punch. Yeah.
But
The
I guess as a reflection though, because before we get into the editing, I guess it didn't really matter if they were going to be on board or not, because they were going to die regardless. So
that is
maybe that's why
true.
it wasn't like, it does, like, we're trying to convince you to be part of our cult and that you'll be happy, but it really didn't matter because no one was fucking allowed to leave.
That's true. That's such a good point. That was like, it didn't matter anyway. Yeah,
Yeah, but
you kind of, they were just trying to, I guess it's just like any cult thing. They just want people to be on board with it, to agree with them. It's weird.
it's super weird.
And like, yeah, I didn't even think about that. I was just, because I kept thinking like, this is so awkward. I wouldn't have never sold it to them this way.
Yeah. No, but it
Like,
is true. But that's what I mean. Like, I feel like more of the people in that group, not just Claire, not just Will, I can't remember their names, like the gay couple, like, I feel like they all should have looked around and been like, you guys, this is really uncomfortable. This is a cult. Like, we don't want to take part of this. And like left together as a group, they probably would have worked that way.
doesn't matter. Pruitt would have shot everybody on the way out. It would
Probably.
have been.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Prue would have been like, actually, that's not okay. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, it would have been. It would have been a different movie. It would have been still a fun movie. It would
Yeah,
have
so,
been
but you're right. It
super.
would have been a really different movie. But then again, that's just like us going back and forth on how we think about it. Like, but regardless, it was still set up really well and like making you like I said, I was unnerved the entire time. I'm like, ugh. I'm like, I hate
No,
it.
part of the
Because I
reason I
knew what
chose
was
this
happening.
movie.
I knew what was coming. I knew exactly what was fucking coming. I'm like, of
Yeah,
course, we're going to get to the juice drinking part.
it's actually, yeah, that's fair. The like it's
Jonestown Massacre, fucking, like, legit.
but the ride is fun. The ride there is fun, and
The
you kind
ride
of
there
always,
is fun.
because it's never not gonna get there. Like, the movie is never gonna be like, they went home, at the
Yeah,
end of the
exactly.
night.
And then they figured it out and went home. And then we would have been like, what a fucking dumb movie.
They had dessert and they all went home, and it would have been.
Will was right.
I mean, like, another weird way you could have played it is just like the cult members kill themselves in front of everybody else, and that would have been interesting. But like I said, sometimes we go through these movies and we play out these different scenarios that might have made the movie a little bit different, maybe a little tad bit better. But you can't even say that for this movie, because this movie is so masterly fucking done. It's just like, I don't want to say this movie's perfect, but this movie's well done.
Yes, it's predictable, but I like what you said, how it's a fun ride. Like, you enjoy it even though you do know, you're like, oh, I know what's coming.
But and then it's weird because like the first time I kept watching it, and the reason I chose this movie is because how eerie the journey was the first time I watched it, and I'm just like, fuck, man, this I would have left so many times, or I wouldn't trust shit. And they have dinner, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna happen at dinner, and then they have dessert, right? And then you're like, oh no, it's dessert, and then they go through this, this big break where Will has this fucking freak out. They all sit down, and then they have a different toast, and you're like, this is the fucking one, right? And then Will again loses his shit again. He's just like, don't fucking drink the wine.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so.
And I
Saved
would have been
everyone
too.
but
I would have been.
Dina.
Yeah, I would have been. I was like, I also would have been like, we're having a different bottle of wine, different glasses.
This is why I quit drinking, actually. It wasn't for any other reason than I will never be poisoned like that.
Fair. Yeah, 100%. You're gonna live a long life.
Yeah. You put poison in my sparkling water, then I have a problem.
Yeah, so Will loses his mind, freaks out, rightfully so, saving mostly everybody at the party for a second.
For a second.
I love this because it's another red herring, though, because Sadie loses, he says, you fucking ruined the whole fucking toast, attacks him, Will knocks Sadie over. We think Sadie is dead, and all of a sudden Will's just like, fuck, I just committed murder.
Yeah,
for a second.
That's another serious thing.
Like, it's such another good red herring right after the whole Choi thing. And you're like, fuck, because I don't know, would that have been really different if Will was just the fucking one who lost
different movie. What if Will actually was crazy and just murdered somebody?
Or just his paranoia just led him to not trust anybody and fucking ruin a whole fucking dinner and kill some innocent.
You would have ruined the whole dinner. But luckily, Will was correct for the sake of this movie.
For Will's sake, he was correct. And then they was like, she's not breathing. They cut to Gina, who drank the sherry. I guess, what was it? Cyanide or something? Because she's foaming at the mouth or something like that. Yeah.
Classic.
Like I said, she drank the Kool-Aid, and then all of a sudden they're freaking out. They're trying to get her to breathe, and that's when, I forgot his name, David walks in with the gun and starts just shooting people. And they don't want to do this. Some of these people are like, Eden and David are really hesitant about murder.
They are. David obviously way more on board because he needs to be following Prout, because Prout's like the fucking leader of this scenario.
I think he is the one to make sure
that everyone dies.
Everyone in the group is just like, they have to have that one person just like make sure everybody follows through. And since Prout,
correct, there can be no witnesses, everyone must die.
Yeah, and since Pruitt, everybody needs says transcend or whatever the fuck they were saying, or move on,
or you can call it that.
Gift. Yeah, because that's what they believe in. That's the only reason.
That is what they believe, but it's not correct. Yeah. Fucked up.
But yeah, and then that's where all shit breaks loose, and it's every kind of fucking person for themselves. Also, if you're Will's girlfriend, when are you?
Sure.
Yeah, when are you the person to be like, we should fucking go? Like, because she's way too fucking polite.
She's way too fucking polite. But again, I can understand like the people pleasing of her and like the situation. Again, the grieving of their dead son. It is the ex-wife trying to kind of see what they can do to move through this, because like the dead son's always going to be there and it's always going to be a thing. But if I'm the girlfriend, we also would have left before dinner. I literally would have pulled him aside and been like, I don't think you're good. I'm not good. I think we tried, but maybe we should do it on a different day when maybe it's just the four of us in a restaurant in public.
In a public setting.
But of course, again, that's not how this movie goes.
No, Courtney's breaking up. Hold on a second. Let me wait to see. Okay, you broke up for a second. No, respectable. Courtney gets a gold star. That is the way you approach that fucking sin. We're teaching you guys how to survive.
We are.
Yeah. And I remember it's weird because this movie plays out differently in my head because like I've only seen it. I've seen it maybe 3 times now, twice to like for like as I was doing a little bit of research. And the first, it just like it stuck with me. Just what watching it fucking once,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah. That's why I
I
highly
remembered
recommend it. I do.
I totally thought there was way more violence in the third act, but no, it's pretty
It moves
subtle. There's a
quickly.
couple, yeah, it's a couple fights, and it's only the really eerie ride, and then like the 20-minute payoff at the end. And a lot of people get murdered right out the way. Choi, um, Miguel, and Gina get knocked off. Not Gina. Sadie gets that really traumatic head injury, but she loses her fucking mind. She becomes like a fucking wild animal, just going after Will and Kira. And she kind of just like kind of goes unconscious due to the head trauma. And Will doesn't have to kill her. She just kind of dies off. And then Pruitt's just sulking around his giant fucking presence.
Mm-hmm.
And we see, I think it was Ben. Ben get like overkilled because Ben gets murdered outside the house. He makes it outside.
Yeah.
Which is like cool. You made it outside, which would have been a really nice view from like Ben's point of view. But he gets stabbed in the back by David, and then Pruitt comes up and just shoots him in the head. Like, overkill. If you're gonna shoot him in the head, you don't need to fucking stab him. That's just
But these people don't.
Yeah. It's so
But
and it's
then
so weird how they
Will and Kira go get back, or is still in the house, or back in the house, and they do find Sadie laying or just sitting on the couch. And Will ends up taking that like fire poker from her because she's basically dead. You just is kind of like, all right. Oh, sorry, I heard me. Wait, how does Pruitt get it, or how does
the so
it's David
they
or
Will and
Eden
Kira
goes?
go
Okay,
into
sorry, yeah. Go, you
no
go. You're better at
so
it.
no so Will and Kira go into the theater room because this is a very rich and house and they have a theater room, and apparently there's supposed to be an entrance to the garage,
That's
but which
right.
is like a which they have apparently
Closed
covered
up.
up. And Will's kind of fucking losing his fucking mind because all of us know there's a fucking door here and all the fucking windows are fucking been locked and all the doors have been fucking shut so they can't get it out. And then Pruitt sort of he doesn't follow them in there, but he just kind of he wanders in there looking for everybody, and they kind of go toe to toe, Will and Pruitt. And the only reason Will survives is because Kira comes up behind fucking Pruitt and beats him with like a fucking vase or something like that.
A wine bottle, because they do emphasize like the expensive wine that they're drinking at this party.
Yeah.
But yeah, not like no, yeah, completely just hits him at least 4 or 5 times right over the fucking head.
She bashes his
So
fucking
go
head in.
Kira.
She bashes his head in and he just does this guttural
But I did want to get to
animalistic
the
noise like
but then it kind of
and
goes
I'm just
back
like
to
so
with what's that?
no, it's just so good. It's just like the
Because Eden, there is that scene where Eden does shoot Will, but doesn't kill him, like just kind of injures him. And that in itself almost like knocks it out of her in a way. In a way, because she does turn the gun on herself and shoots herself in the stomach. And this is like this scene when she goes with David, her current husband, that I truly felt like the most sad for her, because she's laying there bleeding and then she's like, we are wrong. Like, we are wrong. And it's almost like she comes to for like for a second, she's like, we fucked up. Like,
you ever played a trick on somebody and then all of a sudden somebody gets hurt and then you're
yeah.
like, shit, we went too far. It's kind of like that. Like
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just like that scene just really hit. I was like, yeah, you did fuck up.
From watching the beginning of the movie, we already know she's suicidal. So she just
she's already unwell.
Yeah. So and then all the feelings come rushing back when she's hurt somebody that she cared about, where she's just like, where it's that thing where the invitation doesn't fucking work. You don't just get to just shuck your feelings away by just saying like, oh, I don't need them. Just, like they're always going to be there. You're just burying it. Of course, you just covered it up.
Exactly.
But they're always going to fucking be there until you work through it. I'm not a therapist. I don't fucking know. Other smart people can probably.
No, but you're correct. Like, it's just, they don't go away. You can't, like, unless we are all obviously killing ourselves, but that's not the way out. Like, there is help. Life is worth it.
Yeah.
Edgar.
So then, as the last dying wish, Eden asked them to take them outside because she wants to die outside. And then, as they go outside, they start to look over the canyon or the valley or whatever, and they realize.
But we should also mention that they did light a red lantern at the beginning.
Yeah, which is a little awkward in the beginning. You're like, oh, that's weird. They lit a lantern, but there's nothing wasted in this movie. And then all of a sudden, you do hear screams and gunshots and a bunch of other red lanterns,
sirens,
throughout the valley, and that these people are everywhere essentially, which is fucking great.
And these people, this cult is everywhere because, like you said, it pans out in the Hollywood Hills, and you see all along Los Angeles and the Hollywood Hills all of these red lanterns, indicating that this cult is gigantic, and this was the chosen night for all of these cult members to basically kill themselves and their friends, which is
fucking dark.
Fucking awful. It truly I know I'm laughing, but it's like because I'm uncomfortable, because it reminded me of like when I really went into watching like every single documentary that there was about the Jonestown massacre.
Yeah.
And how unsettling that whole thing was. So I don't, because like you said at the beginning of this podcast, like it's highly relatable. And then when I also said like living in Los Angeles, I was like, of course it would happen in this town.
And it's one of those things where like, oh yeah, that makes sense that he would probably have to do like with Jonestown. They were I forgot where they were in another country.
Yeah, they were in, was it Mexico or Guatemala? Ooh, oh fuck, if I'm getting it wrong.
But same thing in this cult, like, and then you can just keep thinking about it, like, oh yeah, of course they were in Mexico. You probably thought she was at some retreat or something, but of course this cult would have to be somewhere else where they could just do whatever the fuck they wanted. And the same thing, going back, David in the beginning, to piggyback off what you said about the wine, they were drinking like a very expensive fucking wine, which even Will was just like, I don't know what the fuck that means. And they're thinking, oh, you're so cute. But technically, this is Will's house. So he should know what Eden has in the cupboard, whatever, unless this is David's cupboard. But whatever. David's like, you can't take this stuff with you, so there's no point in saving it. So they're drinking it. And I'm just
that
like, that little thing is foreshadowed, and it's really subtle.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't pick up on that till the second viewing.
Also, there is that whole scene in the very beginning where Will kills the coyote because they accidentally hit a coyote, him and Kira, on the way to the house. And Will gets out and Mercy kills it, but like really brutally, kind of. It's like he like smashes its head with a car tie iron. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess. And they just like we just move right past it, and all of a sudden we're at the house, and it's weird. And I was like, and then they kind of mentioned it at the dinner table, and David is the one that was like, oh, it was a mercy killing. Like, that's respectful. Yeah. And I'm like, 100%. There's another one where they're like trying to be like, we're doing this to save you bullshit.
Yeah. It's a mercy killing to save you guys all from the pain of fucking living.
But it's like, no, bro, that's not how it fucking works. That like the coyote was an accident, and I don't necessarily agree with maybe killing that coyote that way, but I can maybe see it. But it's a coyote. It is an animal. You are killing human beings that have potentially to live another 50 fucking years. Fuck you. Like, it's mad.
Courtney feels the same way. No, it's great. It's great when it makes us feel this way. Like, it pulls out all these feelings 100%. But yeah. I mean, we already got your initial thoughts, which I feel like your initial thoughts are the same as your final thoughts of this movie. I would say Highly recommend. Oh, I got it wrong. So to correct my mistake from earlier, it was a 6.6 on IMDb, 89% on Rotten Tomatoes, so almost a 90%. Which I'm like, that's pretty big. We usually go 50% of this movie. We love to make fun of
Yeah,
this
we
shit like
usually
this,
don't
but
watch things as good.
we don't watch good movies, guys. The
We don't
This Is
watch
Walk
good
podcast.
movies. But I recommend it. I mean, I feel like I will pop this one on not anytime soon, but maybe like in a couple years I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to watch that one again." You know?
I've been thinking about this one for a while, and
No,
I
good
recommend it
pick.
every
Good
holiday season.
Thanksgiving pick for
Yeah.
sure.
So put this on for your family.
Put this on for your family if you think you have a bad family and be like, "You guys, it could be way worse."
Oh no, I highly recommend this movie. Just make it a little awkward this holiday season, and I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of awkward talks this holiday season. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm not saying anything, but I'm just saying the state of things is fucking weird.
Yeah, we're all surviving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Best to you, and if you need something to listen to, or watch, put this podcast on or listen to all of our old stuff. Yeah. Have fun. We'll see you guys next time, and happy Thanksgiving, Courtney.
Happy Thanksgiving, Edgar.
Yeah. And take care, and we'll see you guys for Christmas.
Hell yeah.
Take care.